there are times when you're watching a broadcast and you can tell yourself, man, this guy just seems a little bit off, or maybe he's not having a great day. And you just write it off to that. Hey, not their best performance from a broadcast standpoint. Then I watched CBS yesterday, and Nantz and Romo, their number one crew, called the Bills-Jags game. And I think to myself, is Tony Romo on Quaaludes? Because I have no clue what he's talking about in any moment. Now, there is the fun, jovial, I love football, I love life, Tony Romo, that can be very endearing to fans when they watch him. And then there is just the batshit crazy, what is this guy saying? It's the obvious mixed in with, has he watched a second of the Jacksonville Jaguars play a football game this year? That was a very, very strange performance from Tony Romo yesterday. Tony Romo said this in the open. I'm going to read you the transcript because I think it comes across as crazy as it sounds and as weird as it sounds when you realize this was the first thing he said before an NFL wildcard game in the playoffs. They roll with Nantz in the open. They go to Tony Romo, and he says, quote, I don't think we've ever seen it where it's like, who's going to win? I don't know. I'm pretty good at football knowledge, and I don't know. Really, Tony, this is me talking now. You don't know who's going to win the football game? Crazy. We all thought that you actually knew. We thought that you were the sports almanac that Biff had in Back to the Future. But apparently he didn't know. Today's going to be very telling, though, because Jacksonville is a complete football team. Carolina did that yesterday. They earned the respect, almost won, but they didn't. Jacksonville's in the same situation. They could do it. This could be a major upset. Even though it's not really an upset because the Bills are actually the underdog, but they're the overdog. We'll see today. Thank you, Tony. That was just expert knowledge coming your way. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what $18 million will get you. That is how much Tony Romo makes to drop knowledge like I just read you right there. $18 million a year. I mean, forget college coaching and NIL out of whack, which I've talked a lot about. I'll talk about later also. Tony Romo making $18 million a year is criminal. Absolutely criminal. He doesn't do anything else, but he calls a football game every week. And if that is your only job, you better prepare like it's your only job. You better prepare like, hey, I'm getting paid $18 million to do something. I better do it well. That was not a good performance yesterday. And then I watched Fox's game. And I watched Tom Brady in that game. And I'm thinking the one thing that Tony Romo had over Tom Brady was his beloved status as a voice of the NFL. Certainly Brady's got everything else. He's got the career, he's got the Super Bowl rings, he's got the title of GOAT, all of those things for Tom Brady. And Tony Romo had, hey, I'm a well-liked television personality, shot out of the gates on fire. Everybody loved me. And then Tom Brady shot out of the gates going down in flames. No one liked him a year ago. He was not good to start. I like to do visualization because we're a visual medium now. Here's Tony Romo to start his career. Here's Tom Brady to start there. And I'm not talking about playing career. I'm talking about their career as a broadcaster. Tony Romo went from, the messiah of NFL analyst to a steady decline to where he had to have an intervention in 2022 with CBS execs so that he would work harder and get off the golf course at $18 million a year. And after that intervention, it went up a little bit, and then it went da-da-da-da-da-da. Here's Tom Brady. First broadcast, awkward, uncomfortable, not great. Boom, 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 rising. Good Super Bowl performance. Rising. It's not even close anymore. Their trajectory is inverted like in Top Gun. Tom Brady is now, I'm not going to say the best color analyst. He's not. He's got a ways to go for that. But he sure as hell is a lot better than Tony Romo. And I love Tony Romo in the beginning. I wasn't someone who was dissing his ability to call plays and know exactly what was happening and all of that. I watch Tony Romo and I think, hey, he's good when he started. He's gotten worse. And to make $18 million a year to get worse is just crazy. And I'm watching that game, and he really took away from it. I'll get into some other examples too. But here's what I'm talking about with Tom Brady. He goes on the Eagles 49ers broadcast yesterday and starts to talk about how the wind affects quarterbacks. And this is his description of how to counteract that wind.
Today's lesson, how to throw in the wind with Tom Brady.
What do I do with this?
You have an idea.
I was okay with this. Yeah, so what you see it, and I talk about the point of the ball a lot. You see it from, well, I'll start in this angle. This is kind of like a neutral plane. This is when the poise slightly down. When you're throwing into the wind, it has to be neutral. If the point of the ball is up, any wind friction is going to push that ball up over the top. So as a quarterback, you don't really like that U throw underneath because naturally that's going to point the tip of the ball up. You'd like more of a C or an inverse, a reverse C. That's how you kind of control the point of the ball, and then you can kind of just snap it off as you throw it. But in these windy conditions, you can't be underneath the ball. There's too much wind surface of the ball to knock it off its path.
I love how Tom Brady turned meteorologist there. And you're not fooling anybody, Tom. That was a chance to flex on TV when you're showing the C formation of the arm. That's what you were doing right there. That's good analysis from Tom Brady. I didn't see or hear any good analysis yesterday from Tony Romo.
Hey, if you like the channel, become a season ticket holder for Hot Mic by clicking the subscribe button below and join the conversation in the comments section. Agree, disagree, we'll join you there in the chat. Now back to Hot Mic.
Here's some of the reactions to Tony Romo on social media throughout the day. Shay says, Tony Romo just says, it all comes down to this play, Jim, before every single play in the fourth quarter. Also, how about him acting like the Jags were a college football team that hadn't played in the NFL before and had no shot against the mighty Josh Allen and Buffalo Bills all day? It was very weird considering Vegas actually had Jacksonville as a home favorite in the game. Jim Nantz, a better man than me because I would strangle Tony Romo in that booth. Yes, I think so too. Also, before we get to the next one, well, here's the next one. My first order is POTUS. I would deport Tony Romo. Probably not going to happen. Maybe a little bit extreme, but funny nonetheless. Everyone wants to talk about just swapping the booths. Oh, now let's give Ian Eagle and J.J. Watt that number one status. Why? Jim Nantz is a legend. He's still very good. If Jim Nantz wants to keep doing it, give him J.J. Watt. Send Tony Romo down to Ian Eagle. Ian Eagle's good. I'm not trying to disparage Ian Eagle as a play-by-play guy. He's very good at it, but I don't know why Jim Nantz has to be punished because Tony Romo doesn't know how to do an open, and he's making $18 million a year. I think we got some more reactions on Twitter. Matt says, whoever wins this game needs to do it in regulation so I don't have to listen to any bonus Tony Romo today. How about Tony Romo trying to react to a replay? Josh Allen clearly gets injured early in the game when he's taken down at the end of a play. The truck is showing the replay over and over, and Romo's just blabbing, and they don't even get to the point that he may have been injured until Josh Allen's in the injury tent, and they have to address it. Michael says, Tony Romo has a sense of humor and conversational abilities of a 12-year-old boy. I will fight back on this. I know plenty of 12-year-olds who are way funnier and way better than Tony Romo. Hell, there's a kid in my neighborhood I play pickup football with at times. I'd give him a headset and a mic and let him talk about Josh Allen maybe being injured. Or to easily call out that it was not a touchdown when the refs called touchdown on that one run, quarterback sneak turn touchdown run for the Buffalo Bills. That was also seemingly beyond Tony Romo's comprehension of what was going on. More reaction. Tom says, have we figured out the technology yet where I can mute Tony Romo but still listen to Jim Nantz? The sweet, sultry sounds of Jim Nantz. I mean, just cutting through the air like a knife through hot butter. That is Jim Nantz's voice on those games. He's terrific. Again, I want to hear Jim Nantz. You know what sounds like the main CBS game to me of the week? Jim Nantz's voice, not Tony Romo's voice. And I'm not someone who's going to tune in to watch because of the broadcaster, but Jim Nantz has gravitas. Tony Romo had that early on, got none of that now. Political Simpsons writes, Tony Romo's commentary sounds like a Make-A-Wish kid got to call one NFL game and then miraculously survived, so now we're all just stuck with it forever. Again, I bet I could find some Make-A-Wish kids that could break down the passing concepts and what's happening in the game better than Tony Romo. Tony Romo still hasn't lost the ability to talk about like the 201 stuff for football. Like he's football 201. He's okay at that. But it's just the basic, here's what anyone can see that's watching the game, that's ever watched a football game. You see that happen on the screen, and he can't process it. It's like his mind becomes broken and he can't look through it. It's truly crazy. I really think yesterday, Tony Romo's performance was the equivalent of him dropping the hold in the 2006 playoff game against the Seahawks. That was his broadcasting moment that was similar to that. Cowboys have a chance to win the game in advance against Seattle. It's a 19-yard field goal to win the game, and Tony Romo, who doubles as the placeholder, drops the snap, and they can't get the kickoff. Cowboys lose. Tony Romo loses. We all lost yesterday with that performance. Really, really bad. I think Al Michaels catches a lot of heat because of the lack of enthusiasm, and rightfully so. Again, I just think we're going to talk about people who are overpaid in sports. Tony Romo at $18 million a year is incredibly overpaid. And that was just, to me, a guy who looked like he woke up that morning, someone handed him a packet of notes. He glanced over one page of them. He didn't spend any time watching Jacksonville all year. He didn't understand what was going on going into that game. And he just wanted to go on air and say, Jim, big moment here, Josh Allen. Oh, look at the greatness of Josh Allen. Look, it was all about Josh Allen, and it was all about Trevor. Trevor being Trevor Lawrence. And a big moment for him also. And that head-to-head was going to be all of the talk for all of the day. And he had no other notes. He had no curveball. It was all fastball Josh Allen. Fastball, Bills are expected to win. Fastball, Jacksonville has no shot, when we all knew they had a shot. And when you start the broadcast bringing up that the Panthers won respect because they almost won a playoff game the night before, I mean, you've already lost probably 50% of your audience. And then you went ahead and lost another 75 to 100% with the first half that was called for Tony Romo.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe to OutKick Hot Mic.
Daily content and more at OutKick Hot Mic on YouTube.